right. All right. Welcome everyone from wherever you are joining us all over the world. This is Dr. Ope Banwo, the fearless netpreneur. And today I am going to be coming at you with one of the most intriguing African internet millionaires out there in many ways. Not just because she's a lady, she's a mother, she's a wife, and she's young. And she's done great things at a very, very short time in her career. And I'm so excited and honored to have her on this team of the 12 hardest charging young boys who are creating waves across the continent, who are inspiring others, not just because they made money, but because they actually giving back to the community by bringing up other young people like them. That's a big criteria for me to be able to invite them in this series. So incidentally, she's the only lady we have on the team for now, and I'm so excited to introduce Mrs. BISI Akintayo. Where do I find my caption? Okay, hold on, just hold on for me. She's out there there you go. All right, how are you today, Mrs. Akintayo?
Great, thank you.
All right, can you say hello to the world, Mrs. Akintayo? Before she says
everyone.
Let me introduce you. Wait first. I forgot that part. I'm supposed to introduce you now. You're a big girl. All right. Mrs. Akintayo is actually, she's not just my daughter, she's a very good friend, and she's the wife of a very good protege also and son. So I'm actually honored to have her here. And trust me, she didn't come here by favoritism. You guys know I don't do that. This lady has earned a right to sit at the table. And if I had not brought her in to this project, I would have been doing her a disservice. BISI Akintayo is a renowned speaker. You're going to hear a bit from her in a minute. She's known as the Amazon of e-commerce. And that always excites me every time I hear about that. And also the e-commerce and money coach who has helped thousands, literally, of people all over the world. She's an alumni of Pan-African University and a recipient of so many awards. I think she even has more awards than me at this point in her career. She has recorded several stories of her mentees who have made millions and thousands of dollars via a mentorship. It's one thing for you to be huge or to be successful personally. It's another thing to be able to make other people succeed. BISI has done that. She's co-founder of the Stephen Akintayo Foundation. Another thing that endeared me to her is that they're not just making money, but they're also giving a lot of it back to the society. Our training and mentorship have helped thousands of people globally to grow their finances. And she herself has been recognized globally for that across so many continents. She's also the MD of Deoglam Enterprise, an organization founded to raise successful entrepreneurs across the globe. See, a father can only give birth to children that are like him. I love to see that when I see her doing all of that, focusing on helping other entrepreneurs to emerge. And she's on the board of several multinational organizations. Our goal, wait for this, is to raise or to have impact on over 10 million people globally in e-commerce by 2035. That is, in 12 years, she wanted to have impacted 10 million people globally. And she is married. Yeah, you know, typically they will tell you these hardcore women, they don't have time for marriage, they don't have time for children. She's married, and she's not only married, she's got 3 beautiful children. Mrs. Akintayo, welcome to the hot seat. You have muted, though. You have muted. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for having me. It's an honor to be here. I really appreciate you bringing me on board today.
All right. Thank you so much for creating time in your busy schedule to be here. So I want to talk to you. I have these conversations with successful entrepreneurs that I'm doing, and I wanted to make sure I interview them globally so that people all over the world who are watching this, those who may be watching us on Facebook, may be watching us on Twitter, YouTube, and all that, can learn a lot, because it's not my own interviews is not just about showing you off, but showing you off in a way that will inspire others. It's all about inspiration of others. It's all about encouraging others to go to the next level. So if you're out there and you get inspired by what is going to be transpiring in the next hour or so, you want to take your time to contact Mrs. Akintayo, if you feel that she's somebody that can resonate with you, she's got several programs. We're going to be talking about them later, where you can enroll yourself or get involved with, so that you can also be on the way to your own destiny. All right, let's go. You know, I don't do all that. How are you? How are the children? We'll do that one later. So let's just get to it. Let's cut to the chase. Yeah, can you tell us about your journey so far, so that we can establish a baseline of your success so far before we even go into specifics? In other words, I want you to tell us where you are right now in your entrepreneurial journey, how many products you have in the market, what is your gross, and this is not, again, for those of you listening, I'm not asking her this for clout or boasting thing. I need you guys to understand who you are going to be listening to tonight, so that you can learn a lot from us. So tell us the kind of products you have in the market, your gross, if you will. We don't need to know your net, because net is personal, but gross is something out there that your businesses have done in recent times. Go.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Ope, once again for having me on board. Before I actually talk about my growth, I'm going to talk about where I was and how I started, because I've discovered that a lot of people love to hear the beautiful stories and forget about the story behind the glory. And this is more important when you know the biographies and the stories behind the success of people who have become successful. It will also help you to shape in your own success and make you understand and believe that your own success can also be possible. So years back, that's about 8 years ago, I actually was still seated at home, just being a housewife, and of course, always waiting for my husband for every penny. And I remember that I actually was not really, really comfortable with that, because I do not believe in the mindset. I believe a woman also should kind of help financially in the home, not cater for all the bills. If she can, what she can do, she should also be a contributor, because the Bible, I remember, says helpmate. It did not specify that be helpmate by just keeping the home. It can also be in terms of helping in terms of one thing or the other when it comes to finances as well. So for me, I wanted to do that, and I was looking out for what I could do. I tried to get jobs, and I discovered that the jobs were not even good enough to even take me home, not to talk of even paying for my immediate needs in the house. So I got to learn about e-commerce, and when I got to learn about e-commerce, I became more hungry. But before I got to learn about e-commerce, my why was strong for me. And I say this, if you don't have a strong why, you will never arrive at your destination. So my why was so strong. It was it wasn't just because of me only now. I discovered that apart from me, in my environment, I could figure out many housewives who were always in the house, sitting down as at that time, doing nothing. And also people complaining about bills, even husbands who already have jobs and who couldn't cater enough for their home. So I thought that if you could do something, you won't only be helping yourself, you also be helping other people at large. So when I ventured into the e-commerce space, it was for my why, and that was how I got started. And when I got started, about a year down the line, I think a year or two down the line, after I started my e-commerce business, I started making money, and it was fun, it was interesting. And I remember there was this time, Dr. Ope, my husband was with Dr. Ope Banwo in US then, and they had a webinar together. They were training people, they were teaching people. And I remember I said to them, I had a call with them, and I said to myself, this is one of the channels you could reach people and be a blessing to them. You want to help families, you want to help individuals to actually have more streams of income. And I remember mentioning it that day. And Dr. Ope, Dr. Ope, if you give him your small vision, it will blow the vision up for you and make it look so sweet and robust. And that was what it did for me that day, honestly speaking. And for me, when Dr. Ope did that, the name actually called Amazon today. Dr. Ope is the one that gave me that name. And I still actually am retaining that name till today. So thank you to that's the grandfather of the internet marketers in Nigeria. You guys need to really give that up to Dr. Ope, because he has been the pivot to so many people's successes. I can't talk about my success story or my family's success story, and I won't call Dr. Ope as one of the people God has used. So I remember that day Dr. Ope gave me so many ideas, like, you can't do this, you can't do that. The ideas were beautiful. I was writing down, the name stuck. But after the meeting with him and my husband that day, I said, babe, are you sure that you are shy? How can you do this? How can you carry that strength to go to the public and begin to talk online and train people? After a couple of months, I summoned courage that I was going to get started, and I got started. And the first day I did my webinar, training people about e-commerce, I remember that first day, I felt that nobody would even understand what I was teaching, because I felt I was just kind of stiff neck. I was just kind of stereotype, looking at the screen, not knowing if people were even following or understand, because it was my first time. I've never ever done that before. And after the webinar, I discovered 3 people paid, and I asked myself, what did you say? That 3 people are paying. What did you actually just teach? And that was where the confidence started for me. It didn't just start just like that. It started with me taking that step, not talking about it. A lot of people keep talking, but they don't take action. So the fact that I spoke about it, nothing changed. Remember, for months after having that meeting with Dr. Ope, nothing changed about me helping people to also live their have their own financial dreams. But because I took that bold step that day, 3 lives changed. Out of those 3 lives, I still remember one of them vividly. His business is doing 7 figures. He has a big factory now, built a house, done several things from just that business. That's one of the mentees I raised about 7 years ago. So if I had not taken that step, not only would I personally still remain that housewife, still waiting for her husband, maybe peradventure, I might not be able to do the kind of things I'm doing today. I might also be, kind of, I don't know, maybe a burden to some extent. And, when you keep asking men for money, I'm like, did I not give you money? Yes. Did I not give you money 2 days ago? And I want to be able to fulfill my dreams in helping people achieve goals. Because right now, looking at my life, having to say I've been able to help people pay their house rent, pay their tuition. And I'm asking myself, if I had not taken that step, would I have been able to do this today? Would I have been able to pay people's hospitals bill? Would I have been able to be a source of blessing to so many people whose financial life has turned around? One of my students was sharing with me how some of the trainings I gave to her was able to allow her to actually make over 68,000 US dollars just from my training. Some has done over $200,000 just from my training. So I asked myself, if I had not taken that bold step, will I be able to talk about this today? So that was what my story was. I was that shy lady. I was frustrated. I was not happy.
I still remember we used to laugh at you. I said, get on there. You tell us. Your husband is going to tell this story more. So, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ope. Yes, Dr. Ope actually really pushed a whole lot. And I actually also, one of the things that helped me in my starting phase was I was able to take correction. Dr. Ope will correct me. My husband will correct me. Once I'm done, even in the business, it will come. And I mean, serious lash. And, I won't take it like they despise me. I take the part that I need to take out. Like they are telling me this because of they want me to grow and they know I can do better. And guess what? That actually has refined me today, that I can't say the last time I got scolded for not doing that well in business. Like maybe if I'm getting scolded, maybe for one or the other thing or the other, that maybe this is my target and I've not reached my target, because everyone must always have mentors, no matter how you grow.
Yes.
So I still have mentors in my life that are also like my accountability partner, checkmating me. So that was where I started. And over the years, like when I was checking our financials, I discovered that, okay, maybe I'll not really call figures. I just...
We're going to come to that in the end. We're going to come to the figures. I think you've given us a framework that I actually need. We'll leave it like that because we're going to come back to some of the specifics. Guys, if you are watching this at home, as you know, these my conversations with game changers or conversations with successful netpreneurs. You know that my objective is for everybody to get better. There are 4 things that I have learned or that I think you should learn. Yes, I already know them, but I'm also relearning them from talking to these successful people. And if you haven't made your note, those 4 things are critical. Number 1, you must have a strong why. If you don't have a strong why, you are not going to be able to survive the hard times. If she didn't have a strong why, when I was around, and I could be a brutal coach, everybody knows me. I could be, if you have to have a thick skin to work with me. Our husband is also taking after me. That thing is hard. If she didn't have a strong why, it's very easy to have given up then, to have said, forget these guys, or pick a quarrel with her husband and decide to continue her life. So you must have a strong why. If you don't have it, you are not going to survive the hard times. There will be hard times, and we're going to talk about that as part of my interview with my sister today. Number 2 thing, now if you don't know how to find your why, go and Google or ask your coach, or go contact Mrs. Akintayo, enroll in a mentorship program. She's very big on this mentorship thing. Of course, it's not free. Everything free. Free mentorship doesn't work. You got to be able to put blood on the table for you to be able to have remission of your poverty. Okay? Without the remission, without the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sin. Same thing with poverty. All right? So, but you need that why. I spent the first 2 weeks of this year, by the way, madam, talking about your why with my team. First 2 weeks, that if you are going to take this year, the primary thing is your why and your plan. Those 2 things you come with. Number 2 thing he says that you have to manifest. The whole creation waits for the manifestation of the children of God. It's one of my favorite phrases in the Bible. If you don't manifest your greatness, those who are waiting for you to get their own greatness from your own manifestation cannot do it. That's the way God has ordered this universe. God put me in our own life, for instance, to be able to ginger her to flow into a destiny. If I didn't ginger her, if I didn't flow, let's say I just decided to be comfortable because I've now made some money, decided not to care about what other people are doing, she might still be doing that housewife work. Because it's somebody that would ginger somebody to their destiny. Somebody gingered me. Somebody gingered me. So I manifested, and there we are. Our husband manifested. Billionaire now. She manifested. Because she manifested those first 3 people. One of them has gone on to become a multi-millionaire, and she's got thousands of people now. But if she had not gone out of her shyness, out of her self-doubt to manifest, imagine how many thousands of people would not have manifested. Some of them will ultimately have found somebody else to help them down the road, but a lot whose destiny are tied to our destiny will have been stuck in mediocrity because the person God appointed to ginger them, because we all respond to different people. That the things that you said to those 3 people or those thousands of people you have mentored since, maybe if I spoke it to them, they won't resonate, right? The same way you resonated with me, that people didn't resonate with me. Who might say, that guy is too arrogant, that guy, they move on with their life. So God has appointed different people. So as you are watching this now, maybe Mrs. Akintayo is that person that God has appointed for you to encourage you to go manifest. That's number 2. It's important for you to do what God has said you can do, to pursue your destiny, because somebody is waiting for it. Somebody somewhere in the world, their destiny is hung up because they're waiting for you to manifest. That's why Romans said, the whole creation groans, waits for the manifestation of the children of light. What I got from that is that there are people everywhere who are just waiting for you to manifest your greatness so that they can manifest their greatness. Jesus Christ could not flow into his greatness if John the Baptist had not flown into his. John the Baptist manifested, ended up baptizing him into his destiny, and he went on and then manifested for 12 disciples who manifested all and all. But if you slack, you are holding down generations of destiny. That's number 2 I got. Number 3, if you're going to grow, you have to be amenable to correction from what you said. That my husband was hard on me, and I can imagine that. Even Misan had to calm down the husband. When the husband started to harass her, that she is new. Let her just be patient, even though I'm worse. But me too, I'm coming. I'm telling the husband, calm down. But she took it in good faith. She didn't see it as if somebody hated her. She didn't see that as if we were being rude to her. Even when we were, she chose to see the positive side, that this is to get me going. You need that if you are going to grow. All of us need that. Thank you for sharing that. Number 14 that she shared is that you need mentors. Nobody can get to the next level without mentors. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how good you are. You need mentors. We didn't hear about Jesus Christ youthful days, but I can guarantee you some people mentored him, even though it's Jesus Christ and it's God in person. Everybody that I know in the world has somebody who mentored them. Pastor Adeboye is great today, but he had a mentor. Bishop Oyedepo is great today, but he still has mentor till today. Bishop Oyedepo, that is mentor of all mentors. He himself still has a mentor. So if you don't have a mentor, maybe that is the missing link for you. Look for the one that resonates with you. It may not be me. It may not even be BC. It may be somebody out there. If God has appointed a mentor for somebody, and if you are seeing BC speak today, and your spirit is aligning with her, I don't care what it costs, connect with her. Because that might just be the missing link for you. For me, for years, because I was pretty smart and because I was individually very successful before I went into digital business, I felt I didn't need mentorship. And it cost me a couple of years. I felt that what did they know that I don't know? But it's a new terrain. It's not law. Until I got mentors, I wasn't able to cross to the next line. I was just surviving. So thank you for sharing those 4 things. This is a teaching interview, and I want to make sure you guys out there, your 2 hours with us today is not wasted. You learn things that will transform your life. All right. So just give me a ballpark figure. How many people will you say you have trained in the last 7 years? Just ballpark.
We've trained over 10,000 people.
Did you hear that? Over 10,000 people. That is a life of impact right there.
But this year we want to do 1 million.
She got me speaking in tongues already. Awesome. I love people with great vision. I love that I'm like that too. They want to train 1 million. Yeah, why not? Okay. All right, now let's go back after getting that overview. Now let's go back to the specifics. How exactly you've told us, but I wanted you to just narrow down your answers only to that so that people can learn about what they need to learn there. How did you really get started in online business?
Thank you, Doctor. That's actually a beautiful question. Yes, I got started by learning, not just doing free learning, attending free webinars. No, I actually took that bold step I got a paid training, and after getting that first training, I dived into e-commerce, but I discovered that it was not like it sounded in class. What I saw was different from what I was taught versus what I got, totally 2 different things. So it was because I did not have a mentor when I started, actually. So I went ahead after the first training, I did another training, and I still discovered that I was trying to reach out to the trainers. They were not forthcoming. And I discovered that there are 2 ways to learn this life. Is that I learn by paying for my mistakes, by making sure I lose money in this business, or I go and pay somebody to come and train me so that when I have questions, it mentors me in the business, and you can never go wrong with the right mentor. Just find the mentor that has results, and once you have them to coach you, guess what? You're on the way to success. So I looked for people who were also in that industry, who were killing it in the industry. So I got some of them to mentor me as at that time. And I was just like a silent student, and I was just doing my thing. And that was it for me. So I started that way by mentorship, by learning, getting trained first. Then I discovered I needed mentorship. I got mentorship. Then one of the things that made me to keep being in the business today is the fact that intentional building capacity, training, getting mentorship. I've paid for courses in thousands of dollars that if you had asked me 10 years ago, can you even pay for a course of 100K? Maybe about 10 years ago, I'll say, why should I pay for a course of 100K? For what? Now, after all my BSc, all the money I spent in school. But today, and you know, Doctor, one of the community I belong to now, this guy talks about crazy money. I mean, one of the mentors I have now that they are coaching me in e-commerce, they are white guys. They are doing, some of them do 20 million in a year. And I'm asking, babe, don't even talk about what you have done in e-commerce. Like when I hear their results, I just keep my mouth quiet. I don't talk about what I've done because these guys have made money. So I told myself, if I must get to the next level in business, if I must succeed, because I want to begin to do millions of dollars, not naira now, in e-commerce. If I must get to that phase, then I must be in the community of people who are already doing it, know what they are doing, how they are doing it. When I go to that community, I felt I knew e-commerce, doctor. Guess what? I discovered that I just knew e-commerce in my local level. I just knew tiny of international, like a bit, like it was as if I didn't even know international, what really, really works there. And when I got to that community, despite the fact that I've had international students who have trained, I've mentored, I felt like a novice. And they opened my eyes to a whole lot of things. And I saw these guys. So these guys have been pushing me as well to want to do more in the e-commerce space this year. And I'm excited that I got that, I got into that community last year. So for me, building capacity and continuous knowledge. Earlier this year, I told myself, despite the fact that I paid thousands of dollars last year, what are those courses? What are those communities I still need to belong that can still fast track my success in the e-commerce this year? So I began to look into those other things, and I found, okay, these are the things I need to do. These are the communities I need to belong. Okay, this is the price that it needs to cost, that I need to actually pay. So for me, it's not about whether I have the money right now. I just work towards it. Because the community I joined last year, their Wombi was, I think, about $10,000. But I told myself that it's not about the money they are charging. Once I set my heart towards it, I will definitely achieve it. I will definitely accomplish it. So that was it for me. So it's not about, I don't have the money now. Ask yourself, how can I make the money? What can I do to make this money to join the community that will lead me to my next phase of success? So that was it for me, and that's what I'm still doing.
All right, thank you. We are discussing, if you are watching us, I'm right here with the Amazon of e-commerce herself, Mrs. BISI Akintayo, and she's just explaining to us how she got started. What are your action points? What are your note points from what she just said? 3 things, as always. Training. She is wanting to get inspired. She started from the inspiration stage, me calling her or she calling me, and me working on her brain. I call myself, they call me the activator. I activate, activate your
wealth apostle.
Yes, the wealth apostle, I activate. But it's one thing for someone to motivate you, to tell you can do it, to share vision that even scared you. You called, I want to know how to do this webinar. And the man is talking about big things. Are you not even doing bigger than that now? It sounds plenty in those days, but you're doing it already. So it's one thing for somebody to motivate you to want to start. But if you really want to start, that's why I went back to that question. How did you really get started in business? You don't get started just having gotten motivated. That is the impetus for you to get started. To get started, number one, you need serious training. You need serious training. She just explained it. She went through training. She paid for training. She's still paying for training. I am still paying for training. I've trained thousands. I've trained billionaires. At least I can claim billionaires, right? But me, myself, I'm still going through training. Why? Training never ends. The only way you grow is training. Number one, that's how you get started. Not by just getting excited when you get to a seminar or you hear somebody excite you like a Dr. Ope Banwo. You haven't started. Your mind is just being prepared to start. I am stressing that because I see a lot of people that have come to my events who have gotten very excited, just like you, listening to me, but they never did anything else because they thought they've started just by getting fired up and say, okay, I'm going to do this. No, you have to then calm down and go do the training. Without the training, you're not going to make it. That's number one. Number two, you need mentorship. It keeps recurring. After you're learning, you need people to help you. You need a mentor. And mentors are different levels. Even Mrs. Akintayo herself, just telling you that she's finding that mentors are level. There are some mentors that you pay $1,000, it will sound expensive. Some mentors you will hit, they will tell you it's 100K, and you think it's worth it. Everything is level. So you need to find a mentor that resonates with where you are right now, because they are the ones that are going to guide you. And a time will come, you even outgrow your mentor, where They are still going to be your mentor, but you now need another level of mentor to keep you to that. And you have to be conscious of that. Don't feel that you have to be tied to the mentor that you got first. Growth is different. Number 3, continuous learning. Goes back to training again. You can't grow beyond where you were last year if you are still using the knowledge of last year. That's what I tell everybody. My first year, that is why I go to cruise every year, except for the last 2 years because of COVID. I haven't gone. I go and learn new things from guys. Like she said, you think, oh, you did $3 million last year, I think you are feeling tough. Guys will tell you, you meet guys who did it in 1 month. So you'll be humble. You'll be humble. So, and then they are talking, you are meted by the BISI, you need to admit yourself. So they by the time they start talking during that cruise, I always come back very humbled. No matter how I went there. By the time I'm coming back after 8 days, I'm over there, I have to do better. I have to do better. So continuous learning is very important. Right? BISI, you agree with me? Continuous learning.
Yes, Doctor, remember the first cruise you made us come on?
Yes.
Honestly, when I met that Australian guy, I couldn't talk about what I've done in e-commerce. The guy finished me. With what showed me how many people he charges $20,000 to train one person in e-commerce.
Exactly.
$20,000.
Like you are collecting 20,000 naira, and you think you are collecting money. So when I said
Nigeria, doctor, my mindset changed. Like everything changed.
The last training I listened to, I say, oh, that's my girl. Oh. When you are making up, I said $10,000, $12,000. I said, Bami, BISI is charging $10,000 without even batting an eyelid. I said, oh, okay. So everything is level. And when you meet with guys who are bigger than you, they inspire you to know you can be bigger. And it's in everything. Even me that I'm talking to you, everybody also knows I'm a top immigration lawyer in the US. Typically, I would charge $2,000, $3,000, so until I saw a guy that is not even up to my level, charging $20,000 for it. Because I look at him. Nedu, what are you doing? The guy said, yeah, and I saw them paying him. Then I realized that, whoa. Okay, you need to get yourself together. So it is good for you to always be in company of those who have achieved more than you. They inspire you. They give you the confidence. I hope you guys are making your notes at home. See, I'm making my own. And I'm supposed to be the mentor. I'm making notes because that is how I grow. In fact, these notes I'm making, don't be surprised if I create a whole new training on BISI Akitayo way. Okay? And I will even use our name to create the training for e-commerce, the BISI Akitayo method of e-commerce. You know me, I'm a chameleon when it comes to this. Thank you so much. All right, let's have a little fun here. Okay, we are making progress. We've gotten to how you really got started. But when we all start, we all have some embarrassing moments, some things that we'll do that when you look back, you can't believe that I'm even the one that did that. What will you say is your most embarrassing moment in internet marketing, and what did you learn from it?
Okay, my most embarrassing moment was the time I allowed my adrenaline to actually lead me. I was too forward in terms of I got to learn about a new platform, you know, can bring in product into the country at a cheaper rate. And they said these products are quality Italian shoes and all of that. I totally had forgotten what I have taught my students. But one of the things I used to do is before I actually introduce things to my students, I use myself as guinea pig. But actually, this guinea pig actually cost me a couple of millions as at then. So then I didn't take my time to do my research. Like I always tell my students to do, never be in a hurry to start. No matter how juicy the offer is, no matter how juicy the stuff is, never be in a hurry. So I forgot the template I gave to my students and I rushed into going to this platform, going to bring in the product. And when I spend millions in doing that, I discovered that the product, and I always say something as well, start small, don't start big, especially when you've not been using that particular platform. Just start small and short. But I forgot my own template at that moment. I went into it and I got my fingers burnt. It was embarrassing because this is what I teach and I went against what I teach. and I actually got my fingers burnt. I lost millions in doing that, but I learned my lesson as well, because now I know that then, it was years back, that I should never, because I teach people these things and I did not actually follow through what I teach. So it was really embarrassing for me that I could fall a victim of that.
All right. Thank you so much. The reason why I ask is because we learn more from things like that, and people are listening to you. They look at you, they say, oh, this woman is a goddess of e-commerce. They don't know your pain. They don't know where you have been. They don't know your story. And when they see you swagger past, they oh, so she's proud. Look at her today. They don't know the pain you went through. Because when they are looking at this, your golden hair, they are looking at your dress. And they say, ah, God, why is she, what is going on here? But trust me, she has her own story. And what she, two things, I'm about the lessons in everything. That's the reason why I asked that question. Okay? You learn from even your most embarrassing one. Number one, she learned that you need to start small, because that way, when you are using a supplier or a platform you haven't used before, the reason why you start small is so that you can make small mistakes that will cost you less, get to understand them better. So if you're out there watching us now, the tendency, and all of us went through that, by the way, is for you to start big. You want to be a millionaire quicker, okay? And there's a reason why your mentors are always saying, start small. You listen to her. She says she teaches it, but she herself forgot it in the heat of the moment. And most times when you do that, you are going to suffer loss. So if you are watching this, discipline yourself to always start small with any platform you get involved with. That way you can understand them better before you start scaling up. The second thing she said she learned from that most embarrassing moment, again, my own job, like I always tell in my interviews, like summarizing, teaching, instead of you just listening and enjoying yourself, I want you to learn eternal stuff, things you can take with you for a very long time. The second thing she learned is that she did not investigate thoroughly, particularly in a niche, e-commerce, because it involves a lot of money upfront. It's not like freelancing, where you are selling your services. Worst case, that will have happened to you. Maybe you will have spent too much energy and time and lost it. But in e-commerce, you are putting money on the table, right? So you need to investigate. That's one big lesson she said she learned. And I want you, if you are listening to this and you are caught with the bug of e-commerce, which most of you will, at the end of this training, you are looking at BISI here and say, I want to be like that lady. Okay? She's an e-commerce don. You have to investigate. All right, let's keep moving. Thank you so much for sharing that. See, most embarrassing is one thing. Okay, I went through this. All of us have it. If I were to tell you to list 10, you would list, I can list 100. But the one I really wanted to focus on in this next question is, what will you consider your lowest and most discouraging moment in business, and what will you say you learned from that? For the point of view of those who are listening to us, they want to learn the lessons. From your point, I want you to share with us, if you will, your lowest and most discouraging moment, that where you almost want to quit, or where you feel your work is not being appreciated, whatever it is that is your lowest moment. All of us have it many times. Okay, and what will you say you learned from that?
Okay, my lowest moment actually, that's the way you're taking me down the memory lane. And
yes.
I think I've never said this on a live show, but it's good people actually learn from it. What I'm about to say right now. My lowest moment was when I did business based on trust. I'm not that individual that trusts people easily, but once I trust you, I just believe you. And I went into the business blindly because I trusted someone. And that actually really burnt my fingers, and we lost hundreds of millions based on trust. So that was my lowest moment. I felt like like it was as if I don't want to do anything anymore. I just want to, at that moment, I just felt, how could you be that gullible? Because I've known this person for years. So I also did not actually, then another thing I felt I didn't do as well that made me to lose that money was also when we have mentors as well. And I say this to my students as well. Let's follow our mentors full-fledged. It doesn't matter who they are, whether they're our spouse, There were uncles that we have chosen as mentors. One of my mentors also has to do with my husband. So I remember he told me some things to do as at that time. And I did not follow full-fledged. I still went on doing the business based on trust. And that was how I lost money. That's hundreds of millions. And for me, it was really, really a downtime of my life. I was broken. I wasn't happy. I was devastated. And I learned that no matter what, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your mother, it's your father, you don't do business based on trust only. You put systems in place, you put structures in place and also never make, because what I did also, I made that person monopoly. So when you make someone monopoly of your business, because you feel that you have one or two other businesses you are doing, it can also crash your business down, especially if the business is bringing volume of money at that particular moment. So never make anybody monopoly in quotes of your business. You can have maybe about 4 or 5% individual there, everybody report to you, but don't make an individual have that advantage to feel that just they can actually run the business. Without them, nothing can run in the business. So that was a very, very low state of my life, that I felt like just quitting everything, like not doing anything again. But we came back up, and I bless God that I learned my lesson, and I am sure not to get my fingers burnt again after that, because it was a very, very annoying experience.
Well, there's a reason why we share. There's a reason why you come to Daddy and confess. This is confession of the millionaires. I told you guys, they will confess everything to Daddy by force. But seriously, though, it is thank you so much for sharing that. And I think the lesson, everyone, because the truth of the matter is, if you don't learn, for those of you watching us on YouTube, Facebook, wherever, if you don't learn from the mistakes of those before you, you are going to make the same mistakes. That's why I wrote that book, Confessions of a Guru Wannabe, where I explain everything that I did wrong while I was trying to struggle to make it. And if you don't have that book, you need to go get it. Confessions of a Guru Wannabe. It's available on Amazon. It's available everywhere. Let us know. We'll get you a copy. But the point is, if you're out there, you need to learn from the low moments, the mistakes of those before you. As you just shared, 2 primary lessons, which I've also known a long time, is that you don't do business just on trust only, no matter how well you trust them, because people change. When money is involved, people are different animals. Somebody that you have been eating with and going out with and doing everything with, when money is involved, they become different animals. So it is better what you cannot argue when there is fight. Don't even do it without having a document. Okay, document is very important. Documentation, rather, no matter how flimsy. And here is my own very simple solution to that. By the way, I've gone through that so many times. At one point, I had to tell myself, either I am too stupid to learn from the same mistakes, or what. So my own solution now is that I do not talk on the phone when it comes to we are doing business. I will say, let us chat on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is good evidence of contract. If you, by law now, if you take that to court, it is admissible in America, anywhere in the world. At the minimum, make the person commit themselves on your chat. Then from there, you say you want a written contract. So ultimately, maybe because the thing is moving too fast, now I'm giving you guys a whole secret for documenting your businesses. Once you start getting serious, get used to the idea of chatting about it. Maybe on WhatsApp or something that is in permanent form. Even if it's Facebook chat, it don't matter. Even if it's Twitter chat, the terms of your agreement somehow make sure it's discussed. Oh, we are going to give you 5 million. You're going to give us 2 million back. We're going to give you 100,000. Whatever in the discussion. If you can establish that in the discussion, you are halfway home. A good lawyer will get you. And it also helps in the sense that when somebody's writing is shown to them, most people, unless they are absolutely wicked, okay, they can't deny it, right? Most people, what a lot of people, BC, by the way, what a lot of people don't understand when they don't have agreement is that sometimes the other guy is not being wicked. That's the way he remembers it. Everybody wants to remember what they want to remember. If me and you have a discussion, just like today, this interview, right? We had a discussion that it was going to be between 3 and 4, right? In my own mind, it was 4 we agreed. It was 4 I put in my diary. Now, when you are saying you are waiting for a call, I'm like, why is she waiting? We still have over an hour. And I'm like, it's 4 o'clock. No, you said it was between 3 and 4, you said. Very important. Now, immediately I disputed you, right? I said, no, it was 4. Go and check that. I myself now scrolled up and I saw it was between 3 and 4. I said, what did I do? I apologized. See? So me disputing that it was 3 or 4 was not because I was being wicked. That's where I remembered it. And business is like that. If there is no independent verification, you will be saying one thing, I'll be saying one thing, and I'll be thinking that you are the one lying. You'll be saying I'm the one lying, because human beings remember what they want to remember. So you make them commit it in writing without necessarily insisting first, particularly the person is a very delicate client. Just talk about it in a way that they will respond. Or you can just restate what was just agreed. Oh, okay, Mr. Akitayo, we are going to be meeting at 4 o'clock, right? I will send you a notice then. The person will respond most times. Because remember, at this point, there was no fight. Nobody is trying to deceive anybody.
Absolutely.
So they will respond with what is agreed. Later, when the story changes, you can do screenshot. Hello. So at that point, if the person wants to cheat you, it's now clear they are doing it out of bad mind, not because they misunderstand. But of course, because it's also very important when your business is going to get big, once you have been able to get them to commit in one form, whether by text, by WhatsApp, by whatever thing that is permanent, then you can then ask for a formal contract. Because many people times too, if we have an agreement and there is no documentation of that agreement, and we're now sending that documentation for them to sign, when people see what they've agreed to in writing, most times they don't want to sign again. Particularly some days have passed, you have shared secrets, you have shared ideas. At that point, maybe they're supposed to pay you 70%. Now they don't think they want to pay you 70% anymore. It's looking like the money you want is too much. That is why you get them to commit first on WhatsApp or text, so that when the written agreement now comes to them, they can't dodge it. They can't say this is not what we agreed. We learned that from what she just said. And trust me, if you don't do that, you're going to be hurt by the people you expect the least to hurt you. I just got hurt like that by one of my boys that I trained to become an Amazon book publisher. Maybe I should tell you guys the story too, because this is important to stress why documentation and contract is important. But in our own case, it was clear that he was being funny because, like I said, I don't do phone calls. I taught this gentleman, he didn't pay me a damn either, how to publish on Amazon. I made him practice it while I was paying him. Actually, it was working for me. I was paying him. And then I went to teach him how to do Amazon book publishing. So a time came, I wanted to then bless my mother, my mother in the Lord, my spiritual mother, to help her publish some of her books. So I called this gentleman, who is also a pastor, by the way. I said, my mother is going to be turning 70. I want to surprise her. Let's help her publish several of her books using the strategy I've taught you about how to publish a book, which is basically transcribing audio sermons into text, editing it, and then the boy was very excited. Even right, he said, oh, I'll be honored to work on that project. And I said, this project, I'm not charging my mommy. I was just doing a labor of love. He said, okay. I said, I will give you whatever I want at the end of the day. He said, it will be an honor because he himself is a pastor. We started the project. Now we got the 3rd book done. All of a sudden, he woke up one night and said, no, he doesn't want me to even help him with his own business anymore because I was helping him. That he wants me to pay him per book. Now he wants 300,000 naira for each book. I'm like, where is that coming from? So I'm supposed to pay you 900,000 naira now for just the transcription, which you didn't even do. I got somebody else who did the transcription. You are just the head of the project. Okay? What's going on? He said, well, that's how much he charges, and that's how much you. I said, charge me. I taught you this, right? You work for me while you learned this. You agreed. He said, no, that So I showed him the screenshot. Now, this is what we agreed. This is supposed to be a labor of love. Still, right now, as we speak, he's holding those 3 books to ransom. Believe it or not, he refused to release them. But it is clear, even to him now, that he's one being wicked because we had an agreement in writing. If we had not talked about compensation at all, He could have said, I promised him 300,000 or 200,000. But it's in writing that, oh, I will give you whatever I want when you finish the project. You haven't even finished the project. It's a 10-book project. That hurts me a lot because this is like a son to me. I mean, he's a pastor in my online church. That's how hurtful it is. But if we didn't have a contract, we wouldn't know he's being wicked. Because he will say, oh, God wants to chance me. Even if he train me, is that why he won't pay me? Blah, blah, blah. I will pay you if we agreed on payment. I pay people. Mutu is my protege, but I pay him every month. I pay you for your service. So please, guys, what BISI is saying here is very important. You got to figure out a way to document business relationships. Don't do it out of sentiment. Don't do it out of trust, because the most trustworthy person today can be your worst nightmare tomorrow. Okay? The second thing she said, and I think this is even more important. Again, if you are listening to this, this is not a typical interview. It's like a teaching session with BISI Akitayo as case study. That's how I'm doing this series, the Confessions of the African Internet Millionaires. The idea is for us to share ideas based on their story. She said something about don't make somebody a monopoly in your business. What she actually meant, the best way to put it is, don't allow anybody to become indispensable in your business. They will kill you 100% all the time. You know, we as business people, most people as business people, when you see somebody who's doing very well, we get carried away and we say, wow, this way you keep entrusting that person with more and more and more and more because they are reliable, because they are competent, because they are good, to the point where you yourself cannot even run your business without that person. Once you get to that point, you're in danger zone. Because one day that person is going to wake up and hold you to ransom, or he may die, or he may decide to leave the country. Then what are you going to do? So I have a simple rule. People say it's wasteful. I say nobody in my organization can become indispensable. I will double you up. Even if it means I'm paying 2 people instead of 1 person. This is absolutely very, very critical. If you are listening to this, don't allow anybody to become indispensable in your organization. As a matter of fact, indispensable staff, they are hurtful to your organization. They are not helpful. Contrary to what management might have told you, I think BISI is frozen, but we'll wait for her to come back. All right. People tell you.
Not from you.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know I was the one that was muted. I thought it was you. All right, let's get back to our talk here. Let me make you co-host. Yep. Let me spotlight. All right. Sorry about that. The recording is back again. Yeah, we're talking about the lessons we learned from BISI Akitayo's lowest and most discouraging moment. Before we had a little break, we talked about don't do business based on trust alone. Find a way to document whatever is agreed. Then we're talking about the second point, which is never allow any staff to become indispensable in your organization. Indispensable staff are hurtful, are harmful to your organization. They are not helpful to it, contrary to what books will tell you, anybody will tell you. When you start getting to a point where you feel, oh, this staff, I can't do anything without that staff, you are in the danger zone, because that staff can wake up one day and betray you, or he may not betray you, he may die, or he may not die, he may decide to just relocate. Then where will you be? So you have to, that is a very powerful lesson. So what I do as my own rule now is that I double up my staff, even if it means I'm wasting money. Just like I have a very good PA right now, I've told her I'm going to get 2 more. I don't need them, but I want to be able to have options just in case Kasala happens. I'll tell you a story of mine that is not even internet. When I had my law office in Nigeria, a branch of my law firm in Nigeria, I had this lady, super sharp, like a BISI like this, very sharp, smart girl. She runs the office, basically. She's not a lawyer. She was like an assistant, but pretty damn good. She is the one that, before you talk anything about the client, she knows what the client is, she knows where the file is. And then all the lawyers, before we know it, all of us started relying on her. She was just a secretary, but she was that good. So she would come in, She sought us out and we all thought we were having fun. We were all enjoying her. Then one day, weekend, on a Saturday, she didn't even betray me. That's what you need to understand. An indispensable staff may hurt you in many ways, not because they are bad. Circumstances can just happen and you are screwed. All of a sudden, this guy called me on a Saturday that my mom is in London, just told me I have to come to London this Sunday. She called me on Saturday. By Sunday, she was gone. I got to the office on Monday, nobody knew where to find anything. She was the one that then we just started digitalization of our, I'm talking 2010, 2008, 2009. Where digital is very rare. I was very ambitious. We bought these softwares and she was the only one that knew how to use it. Even me, in 2008, I didn't know how to use the software that I bought. It was only this girl. It sounds like a joke, but we lost our filing system. So I had to be calling her in London every minute. Okay, where are we going to find this? Then she would tell us. Very nice girl. She didn't like abandon us. But it got to a point, one day I called, the mother picked up the phone. Said, this guy doesn't work in your company anymore. Why are you calling at 9 p.m.? Stop calling this house. And that was it. We got stranded. We had to rebuild our filing system over 3 months because we allowed an indispensable staff. Powerful lesson right there, BC, very, very powerful. I can't imagine your heart or pain, so I'm not even going to let you tell me, but I can understand the feeling of hopelessness, the feeling of having to start over, okay? It can be a client, you are muted, by the way, it can be a client, it can even be a staff. That's why you also don't want to have only one source of clientele. Because if you have one client, the day the client decides to abandon you, your business dies right there. So even to sacrifice some income by deliberately diversifying your client base, you are better off in the long run. Because that client that is writing you check every month that you are so happy about, the day they understand, eventually they will understand that they hold the power of life over and death over your life. They will ask for reasonable stuff, or they may just, something may happen and you guys may quarrel. It's business. You may make a mistake, or you guys might quarrel on terms, and then the person say, I'm out of here. Now you have no client. All right. BISI, I'll let you weigh in a little bit more on that before we go to the next question if you have something to add to it.
Yes, Dr. Ope, in short, you really spoke so much more into what actually happened.
Yes.
Because personally, I felt that, you know, we've traveled out with this individual. He sleeps in my house. I treat him just like
I will kill you.
Yes. I treat this individual as though you're a special guest, the way we treat him in the house. So, and the relationship had grown over the years, almost about 9 years relationship. And
wow.
So for me, I actually learned so much. And when Doctor was actually talking, I could see so many things which I actually did wrong. The documentation part was also something which was not done, and that was what led to the whole issue. And if we had that documentation, that contract as at that time, and it wouldn't have been as messy as it was. It got to, because not only did this particular individual did we lose money, held all our clientele list into ransom as well, like a lot of mess. So I don't, it was a terrible experience, like really terrible. I had to start offsetting debts and all of that for my end. So it was really terrible. And sometimes some people don't know how messy these things can actually cause. Some people don't even recover from it. Some people just in this Nigeria, because of 500,000 and jumping off the bridge and all of that. So, and I'm looking at in terms of hundreds of millions now. So you should know how big this was as at that time. So please, I want to encourage everyone. You might look as if it's small because it has not happened to you, but do not take this for, even if you are going into a business with your wife, with your spouse. You know, I wanted my husband to do some investment, and I asked, okay, you have to sign, you have to write. So you don't tell me that you not say this. I did not. I know it has to be written. I'm not doing anything without you.
Yes.
If it is not written, like I'm so keen, I'm so careful that even getting to my spouse now, that I know is my husband, I have to do meeting with my husband as well, because I've learned. And
what meeting? No, a simple rule. Even my wife, I don't pick up phone. She means when I pick up phone and we discuss that, we say we talk about this on the phone. I don't pick. Send a message. When you send a message, I respond. So your message is clear, my response is clear. There is nobody can dispute that. Because sometimes it is hard, particularly if you have a lot of respect for the person. It's like me and you now. I'm saying, BC, I need you to do this for me. Even though you need a contract, you might feel very hesitant to say, coach, go and bring contract to. I've just told you the way you get it done for those type of people, do chat. Start with that first.
I agree.
So once the chat is sorted, then you can then say, well, it would be nice for us to put this in writing. If they even they don't sign that, particularly if you also put it in the text, that would be nice for us to sign this since we agreed. The person typically will agree with your post that yes, I agree with this is what we agreed on. I'll sign the contract later. By law, that is considered signing because he has agreed to the terms. So that way you hold that. So if you ever get to message, and I happen to know when you guys were going through that pain, if you had had all of that to even give police or to give us, it's a whole different matter. So it will not be like your word against that person's word. At that point, people have to make a decision who's lying or who's exaggerating. But if you say this is our old chat, so I don't do that. They know me. Even my wife know that. We live in the same house. But if she asks me something like the next time, I'm going to say, I'm going to send that text. Let her respond to that one. I didn't hear what you said. Well, did you say you wanted this? She already knows where I'm going. You must respond. So that way, we are not arguing tomorrow. Thank you so much. I hope you guys are really learning. We are making.
Thank you, Doctor, for that, because saying this as well and telling us how powerful our chat is actually. I know this will go a lot for millions of people or thousands of people who watch it. They will know how powerful, because learning from you now, I am able to learn how powerful our chat is, ensuring that even if I don't have a written documentation, I already have that chat as an evidence that I can take anywhere, and that actually can be proven that, oh, this was what this person agreed with me on. So thank you so much for throwing light on that, Doctor.
No problem. On a funny note, let me tell you a story about chat. About 3 or 4 days ago, a judge fined a girl 150,000 naira for agreeing to go and visit a guy at home, and the guy paid him. He said they agreed on chat that, okay, you are going to come and visit me. The guy now say, okay, I will come, but you have to pay 3,000 naira into my account for transport. So the guy paid the 3,000, and the girl did not show. In Edo State, the guy went to court. It's like a joke over the matter. And then all she had to show the magistrate was the WhatsApp chat. And the magistrate got very upset, so that you are a bad girl. You collected 3,000 to go see this guy. You didn't go. It's a breach of promise. So he made her pay the 3,000 back plus 150,000 special damages. It was in the papers just 3 days ago. We were discussing that in our law office and law group chat. My set that graduated in 86, we have a chat that has all these attorney generals and all, and we are debating that case. But my point is that the magistrate, all she saw was the chat, and she made a decision based on that. But if they had not chatted, if it was just audio, the girl might deny that I never told him I was coming, that kind of thing. But it was right there. So very, 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 very important strategy. All right, let's move from embarrassing to triumphant, because we've dealt with embarrassing. We'll deal with discouraging. We got to end this particular section on an up note. So what will you say is your most triumphant moment in digital marketing, and what can people learn from that? Now, that was that particular time where you felt so good for being in business. Go.
Yes, the time I felt so good when I'm actually, I won't say my personal self now, the period I feel so good, it's not about my own personal success, the amount I've made. It's not about the money I made. It's when I hear one of my mentees coming to me and say, BISI AKINTAYO, what you taught me, I put it into use, and this is what I have made. This is what I have done. I did this XYZ amount. As an undergraduate, I remember the last guy I interviewed, he already has built a house. He bought a landed property. Now I started his real estate company. That actually, for me, whenever I hear those success stories, it makes me happy. It's always my best moment ever. Not my own personal success of, oh, you made this money. No, it's about somebody else telling me that they can attribute their success story to me. So it gives me a lot of joy. It makes me, if I'm having a bad mood that day, like I'm having a downtime, once I just hear any of my students say to me that, you know, I made so amount, I have a testimony to share with you, it's a different me entirely. There's this joy that emanates from me that makes me super excited. Some of them, I don't even come online to share their testimony. I just become happy. Even for me, I see that's my greatest success anyway. I don't see my success as my greatest achievement, actually. I see the success of other people have imparted as my greatest achievements.
100%. In fact, I resonate with that, which is even ironic because they affected your husband. One of my own biggest moments since I've been doing anything I do was when one guy called me, okay, on WhatsApp. He first started and said, I really need to talk to you. I said, okay. When I was clean, I was very hesitant. Okay, so I pick up the phone. I said, okay, call me. And all he did for me was pray for me for about 10 minutes. I can't even remember his name. I was going to give Stephen the name of that guy. He said that Stephen Akitayo said you were his coach and I just want to pray and just pray for you because Stephen Akitayo has made him a millionaire. See, he said if you had not trained Stephen Akitayo or mentored him, maybe he would not have been in a position to change my life. Then the guy went into this tearful story about how he lost everything. And I told him, go and put that. That was my mistake. I didn't even get his name. I was going to tell him, tell Stephen Akitayo. I wanted him to send it to me so that I can then send it to Stephen. But he came to thank me for Stephen, not even for myself. I don't know the guy. But he was saying, oh, when Stephen was speaking before I signed up for his mentorship, he mentioned you as one of the people who mentored him. And the man prayed for me for 5-10 minutes. We didn't do any business together. We didn't say he wants to do any business with me. It was Stephen Akitayo's guy. He said, Stephen has blessed his life because I happen to make myself available to be a blessing to Stephen. It's what I'm talking about in terms of manifestation. See, I manifested the little I can. I remember the very first webinar Stephen did. She did it in this, like we said, he traveled down to my house. We did it together in this same place I'm sitting down. But look at how that incident has now been a blessing to another guy because Stephen manifested. And the man happened to have seen him somewhere on Facebook or whatever, signed up for his program, and he told him Stephen has made him a millionaire. I think he's got involved in real estate or whatever. And but he wants to call me and pray for me. That was my own best moment. And I'm glad that your own best moment also has to do with somebody being blessed because there's lesser people get blown up with their own success, but rather than the success of other people. Man is even second generation. And that was my best moment. I didn't treat the guy personally, but I saw that, okay, it's worth it. It might be 1 out of 100, but that one, you never know what that person is going to do. Stephen is blessing thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands every day, right now, right? Every one of us that had a part in mentoring in myself and the other coaches he had, in heaven, we're going to get a credit for some of that because we manifested. So the lesson for you out there is that you need to manifest what you have. You never know who you are going to impact. Yeah. If you don't go out and do what God has laid on your heart, you are slowing down the life of many. I'll give one last example on that. Billy Graham, where he got converted, it was a story from his own book. A pastor organized a crusade, spent all this money, issued all these flyers, expecting there was going to be thousands of people. Unfortunately, for some reason, less than 100 showed up for that crusade. I forgot the name of the pastors in Billy Graham's book. One of the people that got saved at that crusade happened to be Billy Graham. Now look at the impact Billy Graham has had globally, influenced millions, saved millions of lives because one pastor somewhere, an unknown guy, manifested, did what God told him to do. That whole crusade probably was organized by God for Billy Graham so that Billy Graham could be saved, because when he's got saved, millions are going to be saved through him. So if that man had not manifested, maybe Billy Graham would not have gotten saved at that event. Maybe it might take him another 10, 20 years to get born again. A lot of people that Billy Graham could have impacted will not have been impacted because that pastor cancel the event. Because he said he was tempted to cancel it. That after spending all that money and he saw that there was just a few dozens, he thought about canceling. But something inside of him said, just go ahead and do the crusade anyway. At the end of the day, only one person gave his life. That one person has impacted billions. It's the way life is. That gentleman that Stephen Akintayo helped to grow in his real estate business, who knows what it's going to be? Because he can be 100 times bigger than Stephen himself tomorrow, than myself. But if we don't do our part, that guy might still be out there struggling, trying to figure out how to rent a room and palo. So thank you so much for sharing that. Okay. You seem, I know you are multifaceted, but I like the fact that based on all this harassment, you have actually decided to focus on e-commerce. I remember those arguments we used to have that it's important to focus on a niche. Now you are the queen there. The Amazon, I had to come up with that to force you to see yourself as Amazon, and you are bigger than Amazon. In fact, queen, we are going to promote you to queen of e-commerce very soon. But my point is that the niche you started with? And is that the niche you started? Is that the only niche you have worked in? Talk to me about that. I know you do e-commerce now. What other niche have you worked here? Yeah.
Yes, doctor. That's the niche I started with, and I'm still in the niche of e-commerce. E-commerce is broad. So I have actually diversified as well, but everything I'm still doing, I ensure is under the umbrella of e-commerce. I'm also I'm into properties as well, but I'm doing it in the e-commerce way. I'm not moving out of the e-commerce field. I do crypto as well. It's still e-commerce. It's not out of the e-commerce way. So everything Itato I am still doing, I still endeavor that my niche is still paramount, because I don't believe in doing so many. Doctor always teach this. I remember I tell my husband, don't do 1 million business, don't do 30 business as well. So I know Doctor always preach this. He always talk about this. Don't do 1 million business at the same time. You know, you can actually stick with one and diversify. So even in my course of diversifying from what I started with, which was firstly under the e-commerce platform, was importation. So every other thing is still under the umbrella of e-commerce, but I've dived into crypto, I've dived into land banking, I've dived into selling properties as well. So even investment. So for me, everything is still under e-commerce, which I do currently.
100%. Every time I see that, I'm also elated, because for me, I don't know of any billionaires that are in too many niches. They are dominant in one, then they create multiple streams of income through others. And that is the number one secret to success. I always say it, for those of you watching us on platforms all over, for me, that focus on one niche is the number one point of failure. Most people always think they can do many simultaneously.
Yes.
I was gifted, and I'm pretty brilliant, and it's no boast, but I couldn't make it work trying to do 3 or 4 niches at the same time. You got to take one at a time, see blood first. In other words, you are seeing recurrent money, steady money. Then there's nothing wrong with opening a whole new stream of income, whether it is a crypto you now want to do, whether it is a mobile, it doesn't matter. But you have to take it one at a time. Just like her or Stephen Akintayo or myself, I have more than 12 income streams from different industries, but I never did 2 simultaneously focusing on it. It's like now, for instance, the last 1 year and 4 months, I've been focused on Gstars. Gstars is a free app, right? But because I know that I can't make a success of it unless I focus on it, I let everything else go. I suffered a lot of financial setback last year. You wouldn't have seen me do training webinar. You would not have seen me launching book. You would not have seen me doing anything last year, deliberately. Why? Because you have to focus on one niche. I have to practice what I teach. It's this year that I'm not breaking out again. In fact, this series I'm doing is my now breaking out into going back to making money. Last year, I told myself, Gstars will die there. I did not do webinars on anything. I did not go anywhere. I did not do anything. I was just living on residual income that has been set, but no new income. Even law, I wasn't doing. Because I realized that for me to make it, I got to spend 10, 12 hours on this Gstars for at least 1 year. And my 1 year ended in October, that passed. And I told my staff, now I got to go back to go take care of my broken down walls. Now you guys can run from here because we are set. Now we are close to 40,000 users. So let's take it from there. So if you are listening to me, that is the secret of success, guys. You got to focus. When you have that dominance, then of course it gives you the power or the ability to then extend to whatever you want. But you are still known for that core thing. If you call Bill Gates today, everybody knows his business. It doesn't mean he doesn't have 20 other businesses. They know he has one niche that is dominant. If you call Warren Buffett, he's an investor. Does it mean he doesn't have other stuff? Of course he does, but he's dominant in that area. Mention any rich person you know. Dangote is doing refinery today, but Dangote is known for retail, sugar, salt, and that's what the man is known for. Does it mean he doesn't have real estate? Of course he has real estate. Does it mean he doesn't have other? He does, but he's dominant. You got to be dominant in one niche. One, not two, not three, not four, one. Because that will be your bread and butter. When you now diversify and you got burnt, or maybe you lose money, you're going to run back. It's like Ifiok now. By the time he goes and try maybe a crypto, if they chop his money, she's going to come back to her e-commerce. Because now she knows she can generate the money any day, any time. That is how you have to be. It's like your dominant hand. You must be there, and then one at a time. A lot of people that I know, a lot of my students that have failed, I always say to them, that's why they fail. They always convince themselves, I can do three simultaneously. But you can't. You will make money here, and you'll be losing it here. That's how it always works. But if you are dominant and then using profits from that to go and be doing diversification, you will lose that one. But your core thing is still there. All right. I'm glad when I see you doing this e-commerce thing, it gladdens my heart, and I can see that you are taking to a whole new level. For me, in fact, let me make you feel good about yourself. And I'm saying it publicly. Of all the thousands of people I've trained, okay?
Thank you, sir.
You are the only one that I ever said, send me your slides. It's a thing of pride for me. I don't believe anybody can do slides better than me. But I watch your e-commerce, I'm like, whoa. I need to copy some things from here. That's why I ask you. Nobody out there can say Dr. Ope has ever asked me for my slides. I don't. I can do slides better than anybody that is trained or that is even trainer to me. I'm good at those type of stuff. But you are good. I have to say that to you for me to say, wow, I got to see this. That is where you're my Amazon. Okay? You are the one with the record, though. Even Stevie cannot say I asked him for slide before. All right. So because you are focused, and one can see the progression, starting from mini importation to expanding it, to going out. In fact, I don't know what to say about that. So just God bless you for that. For those of you watching, BISI is able to come this far so fast because she focused on that e-commerce. She's not distracted, even when she's doing all this eat and run on those other niches. E-commerce was primary. And real estate is better than e-commerce, but the girl stayed with her e-commerce. Real estate is a sub part of what she does. I love you for that. All right, so now let's go deeper into it. Okay, now, what does it take to get started in e-commerce? Because there are lots of people out there who are watching you who might be interested in e-commerce. I want you to walk us through it in brief so that we can get to the other questions. What does it take to get started in e-commerce? So walk us through the step-by-step process.
Okay, based on what we've discussed so far, even with all the things Doctor has helped to elaborate on, to really put a lot of, open our eyes to a lot of things based on what I have said. Everyone watching right now should know that you should know the step to even start with. The first step, anywhere in the world, if you have to start e-commerce, is to get trained. It's not by starting by just watching people online, watching a lot of free tips that they give. No, it starts by getting someone qualified to train you. Now, if you've gotten somebody to train you and you are that individual, because there are some people based on just training alone, they can get started to find their feet in the business. Or you're that individual, you've never done anything business, you have either been an employee, or you have never been open to business. You have been an employer, but not in the industry of business. and you have not been someone who can open up your mind to really be able to understand things when it comes to tech, when it comes to digital, then I would advise such an individual to get someone who can coach them in the business. And based on what we have said as well, do not be in a hurry. A lot of people are in a hurry. A lot of people are actually bothered about where to buy. And I tell people that when you're starting, it's not about where I can buy, where I can brand my product. No, that's the least of your headache when it comes to the business. One of the things you need to understand is what will really sell in my country. Like there are some products you go and buy and take on and put on Amazon. You will discover that you cannot even list them on Amazon. You just get your fingers burnt. You have gone to bring some product. Let me just give you a sample of one of the products. Product that has patent rights. You're going to bring that and you want to sell on Amazon. It's not possible because number one, maybe you don't have the right to sell the product. You've not gotten that franchise from the company itself that owns the products. So you just go and say, oh, because you see that people are selling, they can brand this product in the name of this company for you, or you see somebody selling that same product. Okay, I can bring it to Amazon and begin to sell. Guess what? You are going to lose money awfully. There are so many products like that, even on Amazon. You cannot even bring it without having your invoices. You cannot bring it without having maybe one license or the other before you can list them on Amazon. So, and you go ahead and bring that product because you have learned about the import business. And peradventure, maybe the person who trained you doesn't know the rule that works in your country, as at the time he or she was doing the video. Guess what? That can either help you to actually put all the money you have actually invested into the basket, and you begin to say, you see, this business actually is a scam, it's not real. Then another part is that it's not just about not getting your research, not knowing about this research properly. It's also about not even knowing what your marketing plan should be. Like people go into business, they're not thinking of marketing. They just feel that, okay, I bring in this product, I put on Amazon, I put on eBay, you know, I start making money, I just start selling, people just start buying. I just put on social media, you know, social media, I'll just show my product, millions of people, and people just start buying. I just run sponsored adverts. What even will make your sponsor advert to begin to convert is also important. So how do you even build a brand out of your business? Because people don't buy products, they buy brands. Check majority of the brands you see today. Peradventure, maybe the fashion designer behind your house is doing better than the brand that everybody knows in your vicinity or in your country. But because they have been able to position themselves, they've been so visible enough that people actually know the brand. People will actually rather go and buy that brand and not necessarily buy the best products. So oftentimes, sometimes people don't buy the best products. People buy the brand that are known. So how are you going to set yourself for your brand to be known, for yourself to be visible? And all of this has to also do with your marketing plan. People just go, you know, you don't have a marketing plan. Marketing plan is key. So you want to think, before I go into it, of course, I do my market research. I get trained in the business. If I can afford it, I get a coach to coach me in the business, to tell me the things I need to look out for, the things I actually need to put into consideration before getting started, the kind of products I should not even mess with, I should not even try to dive into in the business, the kind of products I can bring in and make money very fast in the business, and my marketing as well, my branding, my packaging, all of these little things is what can set you aside from the crowd. Now, how do I even maximize the online space to make money? Because people are online, but not everybody's making online. And please, followers doesn't equal to sales. If followers equal to sales, you see a lot of celebrities, they're trying to launch something and they have millions of people following them. And guess what? The kind of effort they put into doing several skits, several videos, several promotions, just to allow people to buy their tickets or buy whatever they are selling. And you'll be wondering, you know, I'll not ask. In short, there was a time I saw Google was doing sponsored adverts.
And you're wondering what's going on here?
Google that is so popular. I even saw Meta was doing sponsored ads. I had to ask myself, see, if these people, Yes, doctor. Like these people are doing sponsored adverts. It means you have not even done enough. Like I have not done enough.
Yes.
If these people are doing sponsored ads,
that's Google.
that people already know. These are few things that people do not actually know. They are just so much in a hurry. Oh, you know what? I show you a product. You know this power bank. Guess what? This power bank you can buy it for $1 and you can sell on Amazon for $30. You just see the money. I can begin to make $1,000 every month. And guess what? They are jumping into it. And we also talk to people. Another thing people also need to put into consideration is niche down. Niching down is very important. Intentionally, I said to myself, just like Dr. Ope was saying, there are some aspects of my business I felt, oh, I've not given quite a couple of attention to that. I want to drop some part of what I do. Even a lot of trainings, I won't be jumping saying I'm training. I just want to focus on this industry and push it. You might look at, is it not BISI AKINTAYO? No, I'm growing my brand because I have a target to also intentionally help about 1 million people. How do I have the strategy, I have everything. So I look as if I'm dropping most of the things I might be doing just to push one product. And that's the same thing I want to say to you. Sometimes you need to know how to slow down. You need to learn rather to slow down and focus on a niche. Don't be everywhere. Even if I'm doing about 3 things, I say I'm doing crypto, I'm doing real estate. It's not me that I'm doing everything still. I have guys that work for me. I'm not my graphics designer. I don't respond to my calls. I don't respond to my mails. I don't, there are so many things I don't do that has made my life easy. So if you now want to compare yourself with me and say, after she said she's doing landmark, she's doing this, she's doing that, let me also go and do it, you will crash.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
So,
yes. Okay. Summarize that because I have a meeting in 1 hour and we have to finish this. There's still a lot of questions for you. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay, let me just stop there. I still have so many questions.
All right. Yeah, but you have actually answered it 100%. And I hope you guys listening at home, I hope you are paying attention. I hope you are making notes. Hopefully, you can actually go back and watch this video over and over again, because when somebody who is there, who is successful, that is talking about it, is different from theory. You can learn everything you want about e-commerce, go to YouTube, Google it. But what you are going to watch on video is different from when somebody who has lived it, somebody who is living it, is talking about it. That's why I commend BISI AKINTAYO to you if you are watching this from Facebook, YouTube, wherever you might be watching this live broadcast. If you are interested in e-commerce, it is better contact somebody who has been there, who is there, who can help you. Find a way. You will see we put a contact information on the screen at the bottom of this recording. You want to contact our office. You want to contact her if e-commerce is your thing. I myself don't even do e-commerce. But if I were to have anybody I need to send somebody to for e-commerce, it's going to be her. And I have sent people to her. Why? Because that's her forte. That's what she does. I may chance her and say, I'm not paying, but I will send you. But even I have to pay. Why? Because it's a professional. Okay? You got to get professionals to help you get into this game. All right, next question. Yes, you have actually covered 3 or 4 things together. Now, more into practical, helpful questions here. You have obviously seen many winners and losers. Some directly through your own mentorship. You have seen some of your own students explode. You have seen some that even have a lot of hopes for who did nothing. It's all part of the territory. You know, there's some clients who, students who get, and you are so excited that this is my next millionaire guide, I'm going to break out. But somehow nothing happens because they don't have what it takes, or they didn't do what it takes. There are some that we all take on and say, let me just manage, maybe okay. And then the person just surprises you with the way they explode. So you've seen winners and losers. So my question is, what do you consider to be the #1 point of failure for most people who have failed from your own personal experience as a coach and as a trainer?
Yes, for most people who I have discovered that failed is when they get to a point where there's this, when they say to themselves that, you know, I know it's all, I'm not open for correction, and I feel that nobody can correct me, nobody can tell me what to do because I actually have 1 or 2 results, and you just feel that you are too big for correction. So I've seen people like that in business, even some who have come to me to actually coach them, who have actually failed based on that. when you just feel that you have gotten to a level, nobody can correct you, nobody can actually reprimand you or tell you that this is what you should do and this is how you should go about it.
All right.
So I've seen a couple of them who have actually fallen based on that.
All right.
And it's a big disease, actually.
Yes, disease for all of us. May we all never get to the point where we will no longer be teachable. I like to remind myself of that because, and also the more those who suffer from that disease the most are those maybe they've been successful in a different business. Let's say maybe somebody is a successful lawyer. Now he wants to learn e-commerce. They are the type that are difficult to teach because they feel because they've been successful in one niche, you can't tell them anything. And yet they fail. And it happened to me. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. When because I've been successful in so many other businesses, when I decided I want to do internet business, I felt that all these small kids, there's nothing they can teach me. Oh, there is a lot they could teach me. But for 6 months, I was just burning money because internet business is not law. That's why I lost over $100,000 for 6 months because I thought spending money, the more money you spend, the more success you have. Not necessarily. And I didn't listen to those who are supposed to coach me. It took after a year for me to think my life. You have lost over 100K. Okay, you better go get people, whether they are your children or not. You better go learn. So we all need to watch that. If you're out there watching this, obviously.
Doctor, another thing. Sorry, sir. Another thing you said.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
You said something just now. Sorry that I had to interrupt you, doctor. You said whether they are your children. I think that's where most issue comes from. The pride of my child.
Exactly.
Not the age mate of my child.
Exactly.
What pride actually comes into many people.
Yes. It's like you trying to teach me e-commerce and I'm not saying, is that not BISI? That BISI that me I launch out. I will lose out because where I first launch you is not where you are. The level you are speaking in e-commerce now past my own level self because I don't do e-commerce. That's why I was enthralled listening to you. I listened to you for 1.5 hours. I'm like, whoa. I'm making notes. I'm like, whoa. Okay. That is how you learn. At least I have that asset. I'm never too big to learn, particularly from experts. And you cannot be. I was going to ask you, you've given us your number one. Can you give us a couple more? Why people fail in e-commerce? Another couple of
another reason why people fail in e-commerce is because they don't have the right guide. It's not everybody that can actually guide you. There's sometimes there are some people who we feel that are guide, they've not been to that destination before and they want to get you there. So you have to also be intentional about who actually is going to guide me. Does the person have the result? And I mean, evidence. Can the person show me this result so that you don't get your fingers burnt as well? So it's also key for us to find those people who have gotten to the destination we want to get to and ask them to actually, of course, your one result can, of course, supersede theirs, because I never wish or pray that any of my mentees, my results will be the least of their success story. I always pray that their results will shadow my own results. So, but notwithstanding, always ensure you get somebody who already has gotten to that destination, because success always leaves footprints. Just find 5 successful people or 10 successful people in your field and eat these people bomber to bomber. Study them. What did they do? How did they do it? Guess what? You'll be the 6th or the 11th person who will be the successful individual. Just follow them bomber to bomber. Once I step on the footprints of somebody that walked from here to the destination I want to arrive, and I'm following that footprint, guess what? I will never go to the wrong navigation. But once I just deviate, guess what will happen from that footprint? Thinking that I will meet that footprint, I want to take shortcuts. So by the time I take that shortcut, I'll be able to, some people can analyze to paralysis. By the time I take that shortcut, before you know it, I'll meet that footprint again. I'll get there. So what we now discover is that a lot of people will now be going round and round and round the circles, merry-go-rounding, and they will not arrive. They would have lost so many things before they find that footprint again and get to their destination. So what's supposed to take about 1 year would take maybe about 5 years, or what's supposed to take 1 or 3 months would take a month or years to achieve. So also getting the right personnel to coach you. Some of them might be expensive, they might not be cheap, but try your best. Don't say they are too expensive for me. But how can I? Because the moment you say they are too expensive, see, every system, everything in your body shuts down and tells you that you can never, it shuts down. You can never be in their circle. And millionaires don't talk that way. So you've just totally told yourself that I cannot become wealthy. I cannot become rich. I cannot attain my financial target for the year. That's what you've told yourself. But if you ask yourself, how can I be in their circle? So if it means going to get a paid job, saving up for it, if it means selling their product or selling for other people to save up for it, guess what? In no time, you'll be in that circle and you'll be the next person to be celebrated.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. You've been saying it over and over and over again, but because I'm just a guy that likes to take notes step by step, I'm going to ask you again. Now, give it to us in a more concise, maybe shorter version, but 1, 2, 3, 4 type of thing so that we can write it down. I'm doing this for the benefit of that guy watching me from home, that lady. Okay, if you are still not clear, even though she has said it like 7 times already, I've even said it, but I want her to restate it here. What will you say are the main ingredients, okay, that one must have to have success in e-commerce from your experience? 1, 2, 3, like that. Oh yeah.
Number 1,
yes,
get trained.
Yeah.
Number 2, get a mentor who has gotten to the destination you want to get to. Number 3, ensure you continue to do your research. Don't say because I got a mentor, my research stopped there. No. Do your research. Number 4, continue to learn and build capacity as well. Learning and building capacity is also key in business. Then number 5, you need to also invest in marketing. Have a marketing plan is very, very key that will enable you to be visible in the business as well. So have a marketing plan. And number 6, I would say, do not get to a point whereby you say you are too big to get correction. So be open to correction. I'll put that as number 6. Then number 7, I would say be innovative, okay? Do not say that the method that worked for you last year will continue to work for you this year. Be open to change. Be open to ideas, innovation. And I'll stop at that right now.
Wow. See? Right off the top of her head, guys, you know that she breathes this thing, but she just threw down what guys who pay $1,000 to learn. I've gone to conferences where you pay $1,000 and you really don't learn something as big as this. She just gave you 7 success points, 7 straight up without having to think about it. And trust me, I don't share my questions with my interviewees in advance. They know me, I'm notorious for that. If you're not ready to do, don't do. Some of them will say, oh God, what am I? No, we are going to talk about your business. If you know your business, you don't need to know my questions in advance. And she just proved it. Okay. 7 points. Number 1, get trained. Most important. If you don't have training, no amount of passion can make you successful without training. Even Jesus went to train. That's God himself. Without training, there is no anointing, there is no passion that can make you excel. Number 2, get a mentor who has been where you want to go. Very important. She right off the money. Because if they were to ask me, these are the 7 things I will also list. Maybe I will add the only one that is missing. I'll tell you guys, but get mentor who has been there. Not mentor who's talking English. Not the one that went to read it in book. Now, I'm not saying somebody can't read and teach, but that can mentor. He can teach you. Okay, some of the best teachers don't even practice. My teachers in law school don't practice law, right? But they taught me. But they can't mentor me as a lawyer. Why? A mentor is one that will take you where you want to be, who has been there. Somebody who has not been where you are cannot take you there. Number 2, that's number 2, write it down. Some of you have to start the search today. E-commerce may not be your thing. If e-commerce is your thing, obviously you are looking at BISI AKINTAYO right in the face. That's your first default position. If you are not in e-commerce, if it's something that look for a mentor that has been where you want to be, not just talking about it, as demonstrable proof, then you know it can take you there. Number 3, do your research. Don't let anybody else do your research. You got to do your research. You got to do your own work. Even as mentor is directing you, you got to do your own work. So I would say do your own work as opposed to just do your research. Do your own work about where you want to go. Number 4, keep learning and building capacity. When I first started, all I knew was blogging. It was strange. I did a conference in Aja, I still remember, What was that conference? I made them pay me equivalent of $100 to teach them how to create a blog. I thought that was what internet marketing was. That's all I knew. Just telling them to go to Blogspot. Oh yeah, click here, and that's all I knew. But I got a full on to come and learn blogging. I didn't even know how to teach them how to market it, all of that. All is just to create a blog, and everybody was excited. I have a blog now. I have a blog now. Even though me myself, I didn't know what they would do with the blog after. But we have created a blog. But I kept growing. See, you have to keep growing and building capacity. From there, I graduated. From there, I graduated by spending money on training, spending time on training, going to where the big boys are, learning more and more things. And it's like that in every business. When I started as an immigration lawyer in Nebraska here in 1997, I thought the whole of immigration was just about asylum, because that's the first thing I had. So all I was doing was asylum. Then one day I went for a conference in Minnesota. And then I'm hearing all these other parts about immigration. Like, is this an immigration law? Because so I grew capacity. Very important. Number 5, marketing plan. This is where most people fail. Okay, because no matter how great your idea is, you still have to market it. People say, I don't like marketing. Yes. If you don't like marketing, you better go get a job. Okay? If you don't like marketing, go get a job.
Doctor, even the jobs now, if you cannot market, they don't want to employ.
Exactly. Even banks, so they'll say somebody is a manager in a bank, but they'll give you a target about the money you must market. Marketing, nobody makes money unless something is sold. I always tell my people that. Nobody makes money, not the MD, not the cleaner, not until something is sold. And you can't sell without marketing. So marketing is the most important part of any business. So if you are convincing your mindset that you don't like to market, you are saying, I want to fail, or I want to depend on other human beings. Ultimately, because even as a CEO of your company, you are the one marketing your company. If you don't know how to market at that level, your company can't succeed. It's not just about placing an advert on Facebook that is marketing. So you must have a marketing plan. You must have a marketing plan. That's what she put as number 5. And I think very, very saucy. And it should be at number 5, because those first 4 are critical before you get to marketing. So she got the order right. But your marketing plan will make or break you. The world doesn't care how great your idea is. Jesus is a great app, but who gives a damn? Unless I go out there and market it, we are not getting to that 1 million. Okay? You must have a great marketing plan, because that is how you're able to then convince the world, get the customers that are out there waiting for you. They won't come and break down your door. You must market. Even to get a husband or wife, you must market. Go and read the book of Ruth. See how they get Ruth. See how Naomi showed her strategies to market herself. You got to market. Number 6, be open to correction. There's nothing like I've made it. If you made your first $1 million, you're excited. If you really want to go to 3 million, you have to be learning to be open for correction. Even after I've done a $430,000 month, when I got to my coach, they were still telling me how stupid I was. Okay, so you would think that because you have done $430,000 in 1 month, November 2016, I can't forget that month. It's my biggest income earning month ever, even till now, self. Okay, now by December, I had a coach about how to teach me how to do VIP for my softwares. And then the first class, the way Mike Fisher was talking to me like as if I was just a boy that just came off the street. But I understood that. I had to listen because he has done 10 million in 1 month. So if I'm doing 430,000 and I'm feeling cool, the man first gave you his credential. That's why I wanted BISI to first tell you his credential from day 1 so that you don't mess around. Let me listen well. Okay? When the man finished introducing himself, I was gentle. At that point, you can't even boast, oh, I did 430,000 in November. They look at you so. So they told me to do assignment, and I had to do the assignment. So you have to be teachable. That's the only way you grow. Because no matter what level you have reached, somebody is higher. Somebody has reached higher. And if you want to reach that level, you have to be open. That's number 6. Number 7, be innovative. The world is not static. The world is not static. It keeps moving. What got you here is not going to get you there. The thinking that got you here is not going to get you there. So you can't operate with the mindset of 2022 and wonder why you did not go to the next level in 2023. It doesn't matter how successful you are. You have to be innovative. You're not the only one that is doing e-commerce or law or softwares. Others are doing. They're coming up with ideas. I've been off the JVZoo circuit for almost 2 years now because of GSTAS, for instance. I decided, okay, I'm going to go back this year. Now that GSTAS looks like it's on auto now, they just now need to market and grow. I realized that the thing I thought I knew that made me a master 4 years ago, boys have got a whole new level. I'm looking at sales videos. I'm like, whoa, I can't use the strategy I used 2 years ago to do sales video. I hope to win. I have to innovate. So those are 7 key things. The 18 I will put back there is focus, focus, and focus. You got to make a pact with yourself. That I will put as number 1 first. As a matter of fact, then I'll list these others in that order. Focus, focus, focus. And what I tell people is that you make a pact with yourself that for 1 year, I'm not going to look left, I'm not going to look right with any other opportunities but this one. In digital, that's for digital business. So if it's digital business, 1 year of extreme focus is equivalent to 3 or 4 years in offline business. If your business is offline or an online business that connects with offline, like an e-commerce type of thing, site, it's 3 years. You got to tell yourself, I'm going to stick to it. No left, no right, no left. Unless I get to, then you give yourself a figure. Typically, I tell people, give yourself $5,000 a month. Now, until I get to $5,000 a month in this business, and I can repeat it at least 3 months. In other words, 5,000 this month, I'm able to do it again and again. That means you are more or less set there. Then you can look at something else. Without that, you're not going to make it. I can tell you for free, 100%. I have dared my students, many of them, I've said, listen, give me 1 year. And this is your action plan. If you can do this for 1 year and you document it, and you don't get to $10,000 a month, I will write you a check for $10,000 just for the effort after 1 year. But you must show me that you did it. Simple. It is practically impossible. Let me say it again. It is practically impossible for you to be exclusively focused on one niche online, and I don't care what that niche is, e-commerce, software, freelancing. I don't give a damn. One niche that is online. It is impossible for you to focus on it for 1 year, spending an average of just 2 hours a day. I'm not even talking 8 hours. I'm not talking 10 hours. With a good mentor and not get to $10,000 a month. It is practically impossible. I will bet on it. You know why? Most people don't do it. It's why they don't make it. They try for 2 weeks and then they go back to their old ways. Then they say it's not working. They will say it's a fake, it's a scam. Because what really does it take to make money online? Really? Take e-commerce. You take the first 1 month to learn how to get started. You get a good coach, they tell you what to do, where to buy stuff, where to sell it at, right? And you spend 2-3 hours a day working on that. Eventually, they'll show you how to build your website to sell it. And you are spending 2-3 hours. After month 1 or 2, you already got the niche you want. You already got the products you want to sell. Now it's marketing. You spend 2 hours on that every day for 1 year, you will be a kingpin. But most don't do it. So focus is number 1. Focus is number 1. Focus is number 1. What most people do in digital business is that they start with freelancing. They do it for like 2-3 weeks. They are not seeing money quickly. They move to e-commerce. They do e-commerce for 2 weeks. They are not making money quickly. They switch to mobile marketing. And then they are wondering why they are still struggling after 1 year. And I tell you, this might be the most important thing you hear if you're watching this. What you are trying to do by thinking you can do more than one at a time is the equivalent of somebody enrolling in law school. He goes to class for 2 months. Then somebody say, it is a pharmacy that is hot now. Then you leave law school, you go and do pharmacy for another 2 months. And then as you are doing pharmacy, somebody say, it's engineering. If you see out there, and then you decide you want to go do engineering. You are never going to graduate in 10 years, are you? So why do you think it's going to be different in internet marketing? It's not different. Every business requires its time. You have to master it. No matter how BISI Akitayo will teach you about e-commerce, You don't really know until you practice, until you spend time on it. Even Jesus said, when you do these things that I tell you, then you will know the truth, and then the truth shall set you free. You know what that meant? I don't know if anybody, if you are listening to me, if you've thought about that. Basically, you can't even know the truth until you are doing it. No matter, in other words, paperwork cannot help you. Lectures alone cannot show you the truth. It is when you are doing that you are going to figure out the one that is working, the one that is not working, trial and error. Then you will know, and then you become dominant. When you do these things that I tell you, Jesus didn't say when you understand these things that I tell you. When you do these things that I tell you, then you will know the truth. See, you can't know the truth unless you are doing the truth. It's easy to say love your neighbor as yourself. You really don't know what that meant until you're actually trying to love your neighbor as yourself. Then you find out how tough it is. Then when you're able to succeed at that, you know what it means. Same way with business. You can attend 3-month class from me. I'll talk tough. I'll teach you. I overteach self. But you really don't know it until you actually get started. Because you're going to realize that there's a difference between what I'm saying and what is happening on the street. And then as you begin to fine-tune reality with knowledge, then you know how it works. And then you become like a BISI AKINTAYO. I hope you get that. Those 8 things, focus, 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 number 1. Number 2, get trained. Number 3, get mentor. Number 4, do your research. Number 5, keep learning and building capacity. Number 6, have a marketing plan. Hope is not a plan. Prayer vigil is not a plan. Prayer is not a seed. Prayer is a manure to water your seed. You got to get that. You can't get by night vigil what you did not sow in morning hustle. That's my copyrighted statement. I say it all the time. I don't care how many night vigils you do. If you don't sow, you ain't reaping nothing. Marketing plan is your plan to get what you need to get. Number 6, be open to correction. Sorry, that's number 7. Then number 8, be innovative. Thank you so much, BISI, for sharing that with us. Now we are starting to wrap down because before I go to that last set of questions, what will you consider to be your best product right now? I need you to market your product a little bit. What will you consider to be your best product right now, your best baby, your project right now? If you have to choose one, go.
Okay, if I have to choose one, I'm going to focus on what I have chose to focus on right now, which is my baby, and I need to groom my baby to become matured. So what we're doing is I've been having a lot of people reach out to me. You know, I can't get your coaching, I can't get your training, I'm an housewife, I'm this, I'm that, I don't know what to do. And I looked at it. Why did I actually come into business in the first place? Why did I decide to do this? Is to actually give value to people. So if I have to give value to people, I know I coach people, I train people. Now I decided that I was going to get a product that people can be able to afford. And I can actually give them this product to sell and also give them some tips to help them to sell. Depending on the time, they can gather enough money. And some of them can still come back for my training. Some of these people can still come back for my coaching. So I have, that was why Dio Glam Enterprise was launched. And we started with one item, which is the female sunglasses. And we empower people. We are not making, the profit is very minimal. It's not for profit making, but it's to empower people to be able to make money. So you actually, for those who actually are going into it, we have our wholesalers, they buy this product from us at a very wholesaler rate. And what we are doing is quite unique because we don't just give you the product as, okay, you know, take products, be our wholesaler. If you become an wholesaler under us, we now even train you on the process of how to continue to also make sales, on how to continue to also build a brand for yourself in the business. So that's basically my baby right now. I won't talk about the ones that have matured. I'll talk about my baby at the moment. And this is to empower millions of people who actually are still sitting there. Like I get messages every day. Is it that my husband is looking down on me? My parents are not sending me enough money in school anymore, or I've graduated from school. I'm in NYC. I don't know what next to do. I don't know my plan. You know, the money I've been making, I've been sending it to so person back home. And people also over there in the US. I have a brother, I have a sister. I don't know what to do for them. So I've been getting lots of requests. So I said, okay, let me launch this baby project and help as many people as possible. Some actually, they start with very minimal money of 25,000 naira to get products. And these products actually, by